I just want to say salute to Perfect Talk Radio. Congratulations on the 100th episode. Shout out to DJ Playboy. Shout out to Step on Stage and Ladies Scream Like I'm Keith. I love every breakdown, every episode you guys do. And I look forward to 100 more episodes to hear from you guys. Love.
The Perfect Talk Podcast with my brother DJ Playboy and my guy Keith. Lock in.
What's good, y'all? It's your man DJ Playboy back with another episode of the Perfect Talk Podcast. And this is a very special episode, man. Number 100. And I done did 99 of these things with my brother, my partner, my mans, Ace Boom Coon.
Girl scream like I'm Keith.
What it do, doggy?
We did 99 episodes. Now here is this one. What it do, man?
Congratulations, man. Episode 100, bro. It's been a pleasure, man.
Been a journey.
Shit, I'm about to hold on. Let me see if I get the sound effect going. If you can hear it, crack open this beer right here on the mic. You know what I mean? Why not? Why not?
Stone Cold Steve Austin. There it is, man.
To 100 more, brother.
Definitely.
What's good with you, man? How you been?
It's been a journey, man.
Yeah, it has been. It has been
good, man.
It has been a journey. No. We've been through your wedding. You know what I'm saying? We've been through me changing jobs. You know what I mean? Shout out Niche. She, you know what I mean? We was traveling to Newburgh, so we done changed studios. You know what I mean? Shout out Ayo Niche. Definitely was with us in the early days, held us down with the studio, held us down with the whole location, got us off the ground floor. You know what I mean?
Word. Word, man. That drive was a killer, but we did it, man.
It was a little something early
Sunday
morning. That's how I knew we was serious about it. We was early Sunday morning with it.
Crazy.
Nah,
it was nice though, getting up that early, like having an excuse to do, because on a Sunday morning, either I'm working or if I'm not working, I just wouldn't get out. But it was cool to just make that drive.
Yeah.
Not great going to the gas station and coughing up that bread, but everything else was cool.
What was you driving back then? You didn't have this. You had a Subaru. What was you driving?
I had a Ford Taurus, company car shit, man. I always drive cop cars.
I remember that. Yep, you did have the Ford, man. But how you doing nowadays? It's a whole new world now from when we started this thing, man. We still dealing with this corona. Social injustice is at a whole nother level from when we first started. You know what I mean? Like, but people are standing up for themselves at least, taking a stand, man. But how are you doing this day, brother?
Day 10 of veganism. And when I say vegan, don't think I'm eating healthy and shit. I just eat stuff. I'm just staying away from shit that's made of animals, any type of animal product. So like, I still eat Oreo cookies, which is funny. I was just fucking up some Oreos. Yeah, I was telling you before the pod, man, sometimes you need that release. So like having like a burger or some wild piece of chicken or something like that, or like a Popeye's chicken sandwich, like that shit brings you some type of relief. I don't know what it is. I mean, it's a relief that fades away very quickly, but that flavor blast you get from meat fat is something else. So it's hard to replace. So I was telling you that I'll be drinking beer and eating Oreos.
Yeah,
but that's gonna be the next thing to go, man. I can't do everything at one time. I gotta. I'm gonna have some growing pains.
Now, isn't it funny how like we made like the day is unbearable? You gotta get rid of everything all at once. You know what I mean? So I completely feel you on that. But I commend you for the veganism, bro. Like, like damn, man. Like that sounds like a punishment. You know what I mean? But I respect it. You know what I mean? Like it's like the discomfort challenge. You know what I mean? You gotta test your boundaries sometimes, and then you got something to brag about.
Yeah, it takes some planning. It takes some planning because it's easy to just throw a pork chop on a pan. Like you know you know what to do. You throw some adobo on a pork chop, 6 minutes one side, 6 minutes the other. Toss that bitch on the side of some rice or whatever the hell you want to eat it with. You don't need to put no side dish. It just be a pork chop on a big ass white plate. Just eat that shit. But with veganism, like you can't just. I mean, you could. Some people just eat a bowl of lettuce, but I gotta plan my shit. I don't know. They cook a lot of this shit, quinoa, and couscous and shit, like chickpeas.
Now, what was the actual reason behind it though? Just to change up, change the pace.
It's for health. It's for health. A lot of people do it for different reasons.
No, you personally, then, like it's because of health.
It's purely health. It's just purely health, man. Particularly cholesterol, but then also to It's cholesterol, but I had a hard time following the rules. Basically, it was like this. Like, they tell you, all right, eat like white meat chicken and stay away from red meat, or eat it every once in a while, and then try to eat a lot of fish. So I would eat a lot of fish, and I'd eat a lot of chicken, and I'd do my piece of beef once in a while. But then now once in a while turns into the second day. And I'm like, you know what? Well, let me do another once in a while. And then you do it again, another one, again, and another one. And so, like, I was on this slippery slope. I would be doing good for like 10 days, then I'll go nuts. So with this, it's like, I can't eat anything from an animal. So whether it be chicken, fish, anything. So that helps, like even Doritos and all that stuff. And it helps me it's easy to give me the will. Matter of fact, I don't even need willpower because I got the rules to say that, you can't eat Doritos. You can't eat, cheese doodles. Mm-hmm. I can't eat none of that shit. I can't eat normal cake that has icing on it, or most cakes. So I think the rules really helps me out, especially when you're living with somebody else who eats regular shit, and you just end up picking from whatever they plate is.
Wait,
now I can't do that.
Wifey's going vegan with you though?
Nah. She's
still. You like the Martin episode? I didn't know you was putting your feet to the fire like that, dog.
Nah, yeah, but it ain't bad though, because like I told you, I'm not going straight healthy. Like, I still eat tasty shit.
Yeah,
but it just ain't that. There's something to be said about the flavor of chicken grease. Like, when you eat something with chicken, it's at least there's trace chicken grease in it. Now there's nothing like that. So there's all kinds of seasonings and shit that tries to fake the effect of chicken grease, and they can't. But I'm holding it down. I'm buying all kinds of weird spices from Trader Joe's.
Nah, yeah. Also, I would imagine that you at least experimenting with different tastes for your palate. You know what I mean? At least during this time. So that's good, man. Shout out to you.
Yeah, man. And I try to, and the good thing is that, like, I'm not even gonna try to be replacing normal people shit with the vegan version of it, because I tried a vegan pizza the other night. Wifey bought it for me, and that shit was awful.
Trash.
Trash. Hated that shit.
Basura.
Word up.
No. Let's get right into it though, man. It's been a crazy week since last time we spoke, man. Keith, are you familiar with a player in the NBA named Jonathan Isaac? I feel like every week we're talking about a different player here on the Perfect Talk podcast, with the NBA bubble starting back over. But Jonathan Isaac made news for a different reason. He's one of the few players, actually, I think the only player who decided that he was not going to kneel during the national anthem. I'm not quite sure what Jonathan's reasons are. I haven't heard anything, but personal preference, right? Maybe he just doesn't agree with the cause, doesn't think so. Maybe he thinks it's anti-law enforcement. There's a lot of mixed messages out there. So Jonathan had his reason for not doing it. Ironically, Jonathan Isaac suffered a torn ACL on his left knee during a game against the Sacramento Kings, bro.
Mm-hmm. I had no idea what that name was, but then I heard of that situation.
Okay.
So a lot of people on social media is like, yeah, good for that nigga. I don't know about all that.
I can't celebrate nobody's injury.
I don't wish that upon
nobody.
nobody.
You can't celebrate an injury. That's wild. Or make fun of it.
And then something for a personal preference. He didn't say shit. Like, nobody knows who he is, but he just chose not to take that stance or express his views in that way, whatever they are. Mm-hmm. And it's fucked up to hold that against him.
It's crazy how the internet is, right? How the internet has no chill. But even so, it's like anything you do nowadays that doesn't, like, obviously Terry Crews is a whole nother level, but anything you do that doesn't go with the status quo, you're gonna get that stigma that I think Rick Ross has a new song out where he basically called Terry Crews a coon. And it's just like it's you're gonna get that, right? If you don't go with everything, kind of the struggle. If you don't go with the struggle, if you don't go with the side that we're on. But Jonathan Isaac might have had his own reason, but it is as a story, I guess, looking at it from a macro view, it is super ironic.
No, it definitely is. It's one of those. I don't know. It's.
You don't call it poetic
it's bad
justice.
luck.
Yeah, you don't call it poetic justice because it's like, hey, do what you want. If I didn't agree with the kneeling, I ain't kneeling. Like, just as I'm the same way. You know what I'm saying? It so happens I do agree with the kneeling. I do see what the message is. I haven't been given a perverse version of it to believe something different. But if I didn't, maybe I was like Blue Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't want to kneel. I ain't gonna kneel. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I shouldn't feel forced into doing it at the end of the day. Like it's like when you see those Trump rallies and they're like black people there. You're like, no, I mean, hey, they get the right to vote too, right?
Right. Yeah, it's with everything being looked at through the lens of politics. Shit just gets kind of. I guess I don't got no other word for it but corny. Like, it just gets kind of corny, gets kind of nasty. Mm-hmm. People look at shit like that, and he didn't want to kneel. Everybody's kneeling. Like, it's not even a thing no more, by the way. Like, it's just everybody's kneeling, and I'm sure there's a percentage, maybe a small percentage of those players and coaches who are like, they don't fully know what it means, but they feel as if they got to kneel because
in unity.
They're supposed to.
Exactly. Yeah.
In unity. It definitely means unity, but I wonder if there's a small percentage who, to them, is unity. Clearly, your team does it, but all right, I'm going to do it. It doesn't seem to be hurting nobody, that type of thing. But the true reasons behind it, right? Because maybe you just do it so that you don't get any kind of backlash.
True. Yeah, you don't hurt your brand.
I don't know. Yeah. I wonder.
No, I think there. Yeah, I gotta agree with that. I think there's a ton of players out there who might not even agree with it. I might literally go home and shit on it, but do it because they don't want to cause a stir, or they don't want They don't want that attention, that media attention. I also think it was this narrative I'm seeing, right? 'Cause I seen a poll in the Daily News that said 80% of blacks that were polled do not want to break up the police force, right? And I think that this whole message that went out with defund the police caused this message of it's Black Lives Matter are anti-police. And I don't think we're necessarily anti-police. I just think we're looking to be treated fairly by police, right? But there's this narrative out because I've been seeing that. I've seen Blue Lives Matter protests and then Black Lives Matter people are showing up, and now we're two different sides of the spectrum. And I don't like that narrative being painted. You know what I mean? That if you're Black Lives Matter, you're anti-cop. Or you know what I mean, vice versa. If you're pro-cop, then you must not care for black people. I feel like, and you saw that with the Jonathan Isaac thing. It was like, oh yeah, you wouldn't laugh at an NBA player tearing his, you wouldn't laugh at any athlete tearing their ACL in a different situation. You know what I mean? Even if it happened during a crossover, you know what I'm saying? Somebody got literally crossed and got injured from it. It's you know what I mean? People would watch it and it'll have its moment, but then we'd move on. But I don't know if it would necessarily throw it in his face, you know what I mean? Fuck you, you know what I mean? This is what you get. You know what I mean? Your ancestors are getting back at you. Come on now. And it's just it can't be this narrative of you got to be one or the other. And I think, unfortunately, that's where we're at with this time. You know what I mean? With you said, the political state that we're at right now. It's election year. Election's right around the corner. 80-something days, I think we're away from the election. It's becoming that you got to be hit this or that. You got to be down with us or you down with them. You know what I mean? It's that's not how, I don't think, you know what I mean? That's how, you can't get one side to listen to the other if everyone's you either with us or against us.
You know what's crazy? A vast majority of people are somewhere in the middle. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That basketball player chose not to kneel. And I feel as if, when you just take the general population, most people are just I don't like black people getting beat up by the police. They're just in the middle. But I do like police. And I don't, you know what I'm saying? They in the middle. And the fact that he didn't kneel, that's to wish that shit upon him. And then it happens. And then to kind of laugh about it. Say, that's what you get. Crazy, boy.
And even black people, the Daily News, to be surprised that black people want a police presence in their neighborhood. Black people need we want I don't understand, why would we not want the same thing that every other culture wants? If Chinese people want a police presence in their neighborhood, Jewish people want a police presence, why would black people not want a police presence? It's you create this narrative we're anti-police, we want anarchy and chaos, and it's I don't even think that's what defund the police really started from. I think you explained it best. It's redistributing those funds You know what I mean? You're not looking at all break up the police force. There's more than with the amount of money that they're getting in some of these cities. There's more than enough to go around to take money away and keep everyone still on board.
Terrible branding though. Defund the police. It just sounds like you don't want to take all the money away from the police. So it's terrible branding. But it's that thing of the loudest voices being on Twitter. Like the loudest voices is the one who win the day, but it's such a small percentage of people. So those people who made up the term defund the police, it's a small percentage of people. I'm sure if the majority were able to vote on what the slogan should be for this shit, it definitely wouldn't be that.
Or even look. Remember when the protests at first started with the George Floyd thing? You had people literally yelling in cops' faces, right? No mask on, coronavirus. You just yelling at top of yelling, cursing them out. You know what I mean? Like trying to provoke. I seen video, and then that people correlate that with Black Lives Matter, and it's like nah, that's an angry black individual that's expressing their frustration with the situation. That is not the same thing as don't shoot us when we're unarmed. You know what I mean? Right. Like it's completely two different messages. I see the confusion. I can see how it happens. You know what I mean? Because it's one image, right? If you're getting it all through the media, you're getting it all through one news source. You're looking at that image and you're seeing the same thing. You're seeing
and
go ahead, my fault.
In that image, we lack perspective too. But when you really look at the images, sometimes they'd be like, let's say it's a city or some kind of block or something that has a protest. It might be like a couple hundred protesters who's just marching, singing, chanting, just marching. Some people even dancing. Then you might have 10 people destroying property. But when you focus on that 10 people and see all the flames and broken windows and shit like that, it looks crazy. You just see those people, and then you see another camera that shows 200 peaceful protesters, but in your mind's eye, for a lot of people, it's like, wow, there goes 200 maniacs destroying a city when it was just like 5% of those people, or less than 5%, fucking shit up.
Yeah, and that unfortunately, that what gets replayed. That's what gets the most views and the most clicks. You know what I mean? Right. So it's a sad situation. But it's the world we live in today, right? You got a world where your man, the POTUS, right? The president of the United States has to be reined in by social media. Right. The people and you stated this on a previous podcast that social media is very kind of lax with what they let people get away with saying sometimes in terms of a narrative, but they understand the power of the president spreading false information, right? And Trump got checked. He got checked by Facebook. You know what I mean, for statements false. You know what I mean, but and stated very irresponsibly. When he said that children are pretty much virtually immune from the coronavirus. It was an interview that he had with Fox, and he used the term almost immune from COVID-19. So Facebook removed that. Twitter required the campaign account to delete the tweet and block them from tweeting until it was done. So they both actually stepped up for the same social media post, and you gotta respect it, right? Better late than never, right? On Facebook's part, because Facebook been letting them get away with a lot of shit. Twitter's actually stepped up and put in certain things that have been said, but shout out to them with that, right?
Hell yeah. Because he say crazy shit, man. I guess they at a certain point it's like, because you know what? If you start censoring the president, that's a big deal, bro. That's to censor anybody, especially social media, where they pride themselves on just free expression. Anybody could get on Twitter and say what they want to say. You don't need to rely on the news. If you see something happening in your community, you could comment on it right there on Twitter and people could consume it. But the president comes on, and when he says something, it means something for real. Like, they have that saying, this dude could fuck the whole stock market up or whatever, just with a tweet. Exactly. Start a war with a tweet. So I guess Twitter, now that we in a pandemic, via Twitter, he could do some serious damage, saying shit that's not true and making people sick. Instagram is my social media platform of choice.
I don't even know if Twitter would still be a thing if it wasn't for Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like, he kind of kept it popping. No, I know there's people out there who swear by Twitter, so I'm not gonna say they wouldn't exist, but I know he's definitely done a lot for them. So it takes some balls for them to speak out against him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that's
he definitely did stuff for them. I think social media in general, I won't lie, Donald Trump definitely did good things for them, because conservative America, they get it popping on social media. Mm-hmm. Like, they got a like nice little communities going that really, you know, ad dollars and all that shit that Facebook earns off of people who's targeting conservative Americans. Donald Trump. Thank you, Trump. I guess that's what Zuckerberg could say.
Yeah, and probably why Zuckerberg hasn't been quickest to run to the front lines to censor him. You know what I mean? He's kind of been like, I'm a hem and I'm a haw, you know, about why I'm not doing this and freedom of speech. But come on, like, so, you know, you obviously know certain things are fake or false, you know what I mean? And for you to spread that, are you just as bad of as much of the problem as you are the solution?
Word.
And actually, I don't know if you've seen it. Michael Porter Jr. is a basketball player. He was having a live chat, and he kind of said some things about the coronavirus that needed to be checked by his own team. You know what I mean? Basically saying it's population control, and he feels like it's a way to force people to all get a vaccine. And he's actually anti-vaccine in general, and he doesn't think that, you know what I mean? He just went off on a tangent, but it was like, bro, you're on a fucking live chat with fans. Like, you can't be out here spreading conspiracy theories.
Yo, man. You know what's interesting about conspiracy theories, though, is that the conspiracy theory is not a conspiracy theory to the conspiracy theorist. Like, the person saying it doesn't believe like it's a big conspiracy thing. They just take it as like a matter of a fact. Mm-hmm. He's like, well, yeah, I mean, he got this coronavirus, it's killing people. We see who is killing. Well, this is, you know who put it there, right? Government, population control. You seen them do it and shit like that. And, you know, there's examples of the government. I don't know. I'm not say the government, but people. For instance, the Tuskegee experiment, shit like that. Like, where you just don't care for the health of a certain race of people. But it's like that rumor that the government started AIDS. And the thing is, I can't prove them wrong. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing about some conspiracy theories. Like,
well, that's why. Yeah, well, that's why they fester. If you could debunk it in 5 seconds, it can't fester as a conspiracy theory. It's got to have that little that little bit of doubt to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because and you know what? And the conspiracy theories that really catch on are the ones that try to explain that little area of doubt, right? We kind of know that how to prevent or protect ourselves from coronavirus. We know that there's no vaccine yet, but we don't quite fully know where exactly did it come from.
And how it spreads.
So now,
exactly.
So now when people, or how it came to the U.S. or nothing like that. So now when people start making any type of comment, regardless of how wacky it is about where it started, then maybe, just maybe, it might be true, right? So the China virus, when Trump says that, no one knows really where it came from. So if he says China virus, and whoever likes him is like, yeah, they're right, China virus. And Michael Porter, whoever told him that the government made it, that's about right. The government made it. Where else would it come from?
Because you can't prove it.
Yeah, conspiracy theories, it's fucked up, but there ain't no but. It's just fucked up, man. Conspiracy theories be making people nuts.
You touched on something right just now, and that's a scary thing about this election. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I mean? I don't live a fair-based life, but Trump can make a statement and his supporters love him so much that they're like, oh, it's the gospel. You know what I mean? He wouldn't say it if it wasn't true. You know what I mean? As if there's some, you know, moral standard that he lives up to. Whereas Biden, I don't know if he has that support. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? And Biden hasn't been doing so great with the African American community. You know, we're equal opportunity here, Keith. We like to call out a lot of shit that Donald Trump does. I gotta call out Joe Biden for his bullshit, bro. You know what I mean? Joe Biden in a discussion with Hispanic journalists said, "What you all know I quote, but most people don't know. Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is incredibly diverse community with incredible different attitudes about different things. You go to Florida, you find a different attitude about immigration in certain places than you do when you're in Arizona. So it's a very diverse community. And then a few hours later, speaking to the National Association of Latino elected and appointed officials, Biden reiterated his comments, saying, "We can build a new administration that reflects the full diversity of our nation, the full diversity of Latino communities." And when I mean full diversity, unlike the African American community and many other communities, you're from everywhere. From Europe, you're from the tip of South America, all the way to our border in Mexico and in the Caribbean. I feel like the African American comment wasn't even necessary.
Yeah.
He's like he was mad at African American people the way a wife be mad at her husband.
Yeah.
Unlike my husband, who will never clean up after himself.
Yo, I tell you what, man. Joe just need to make it to election day, man. It's because he not senile, but he old. Old people just, you don't lose it, but you're just not as swift as you were when you were 30 or 40. Mm-hmm. So these are things that may have been knocking around in his mind, and take our favorite politician is probably knocking around in their mind, but they're swift enough and they're skillful enough to know exactly what to say and what not to say. Mm-hmm. So I feel as if coming out his mouth, he's like, this is a good, nice, smart point right here. Let me say it right here. Boom. African Americans ain't diverse in their opinions, but but them Hispanics though, there's a lot of types in them, and that to him coming out the mouth made sense, and
he might believe it. I mean, he might really believe that. He might think all black people come from America, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's not Caribbeans, it's not, you know what I'm saying, people from the Latin countries that are, he don't even regret it, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's that's a scary. I kind of like, at first I was like, you know what? Maybe that was one of those things where you ever notice when somebody's talking, they look for filler words as they get their thought together. I was like, all right, yeah, Joe, you know what I'm saying? That was a filler. He, unlike the African American, you know what I'm saying? He was just looking as he got his thoughts together and said something stupid. But then he said it again. I was like, I'm like, dog.
It is frightening, man, because I don't know which fuck up it's gonna be that people just like, you know what, I just can't no more. I don't know which one it's gonna be. And I don't know if it's this one, could be the next one. It might never come, or might not come before election day, but my God, man, like you just, when you can, well, first of all, you can't compare races ever. When it comes to, if you use any kind of word, especially than, THAN, don't put two different races in the shit, because it's always gonna come out bad. You'll be like, oh well, in the Middle East they something then from here. You can't do that shit. So that was the first fuck up.
That's the first lesson at the Nick Cannon Speech School, man.
You can't word up, man. You cannot compare struggles. You cannot compare two groups ever. But the thing is like, I think I get what he's trying to say, because people do it with black people, but as far as the black vote, but the quote unquote the Hispanic vote, there's so many different countries, there's so many different generations. It's that some are really there's a good chunk of conservative Latinos. There's a good chunk of very liberal ones. There's people who came from Castro, Cuba, and people who came from here, and it's just all so different. And I think that's what he was trying to get at, especially very, I guess, notable differences like your country of origin. You know, there's tons of countries in Latin America. Period. And that's kind of where he should have left it. And then you can't, in the same paragraph, you can't mention black people. Just don't do it.
Exactly. And I
think you can't be like, oh well, black people, they just be coming from South Carolina, Chicago, Oakland, where else?
Now it's when you can't. And I was gonna say I was gonna paint with a broad stroke, but I'm not gonna say what group of people. But I think there are just some people who, if they can't look at another group of people and paint them with a broad stroke, it becomes very confusing for them. So for maybe a white elected official to look at the Hispanic community and their support for some of them for a gentleman who, well, not a gentleman, but a person who is anti a certain group of Hispanics, I think that's very confusing for them, where they themselves might be anti that same group of Hispanic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like they can't paint it with a broad stroke. I have a Puerto Rican friend who's a huge Trump supporter, like loves him to death, like will argue with people in the break room. And I'm just, and you know, like to some people, they're like scratching his head. It's kind of like Clayton Bigsby. You know what I'm saying? To some people when they're looking at it, but he feels the same way, like Trump feels.
Yeah.
So, and he's so I think when people can't paint that group of people with that broad stroke, it is very confusing for them. And Joe Biden, in his confusion, has made a very stupid comment that hurt a totally different group of people that didn't even necessarily have anything to do with the conversation.
Yeah, I thought the questioner, when I first heard it, because when I first heard about it, they just gave his answer. So I'm like, oh, the questioner must have asked him, who's more diverse in their political views, Latinos or black people? And then Joe Biden went off on that. But it was just like, he just said it, unlike black people. Hispanics, da-da-da-da-da. I mean, I'm voting for Biden, I'll tell you that, but...
make no mistake. But it's kind of...
If he does many more of these types of things, I'm going to vote for him. I'm not going to say shit. I'm going to be like, nah, I stayed my ass home.
I was like the lesser of two evils. And you don't want it to be like that because it hurts more, you know what I'm saying, when Biden makes these comments. When Trump makes them, it's expected, you know what I'm saying? He's speaking to his base. But when Biden makes these comments, it's like, damn.
Yeah, Trump got a floor, like a solid floor. Biden doesn't have that. So all Trump is fighting for now is that extra 10, 15%, but he has his 30, 40, I think it's like 40%. All he needs to win might be another 8 more %.
And
So that's what Biden can't lose on.
Exactly. Keith, you're familiar with the rapper J. Cole? You gotta be, right?
I heard about him.
You know, J. Cole got his sneakers. He got his own line. He got his own sneaker out through Puma, and it's actually doing pretty
That
good.
I didn't know.
No, oh shit, yeah, it's doing pretty good, bro. It's you know, not quite easy level, but the demand I'm seeing for it might, maybe not, you know, this one, but maybe if he keeps continuing to drop sneakers, he might hit that level with it. But something else that might push the sales of those sneakers is J. Cole's talking about trying out for the NBA. he does have a Puma commercial where Master P is actually narrating it, and you know you see J. Cole in the gym training, and kind of based off of Master P's comments, you know the ad campaign is like, can J. Cole try to make it in the NBA? And he's actually gotten a shout out from the Detroit Pistons, who reached out to him and was like, "Yo, Cole, what's good?" You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
yeah, which is huge, right?
The kicks is all right.
You see him, right? Yeah, they're not bad looking.
Yeah, sold out
Oh yeah, yeah,
on
they're,
the Puma site.
yeah, they're hard to find anywhere. Shit, let me know if you can find them anywhere. But Detroit Pistons, they said J. Cole at J. Cole NC. We see you out there. You said they only got 12 slots on the Pistons. Hit us up for that tryout. This is for all the dreamers. You know what I mean? And they tagged that Bleacher Report hashtag Dreamville. Had a picture of a jersey with J. Cole's name on it, number 15. So I'm like, hey, I don't know. I don't know how real J. Cole is. I've always known him to try to play basketball, but
Well, I mean, I've been seeing little videos of him hooping. I think he was hooping with some NBA players in the off season or something. I can't remember, but I saw some video at some gym. And he was doing his thing. He got him a shot. He could run. Got a little bit of defense. You know, he's a little bit old for a pro athlete, but he don't got that wear and tear because he doesn't have like some long athletic career. But it's crazy when you get money, man. You could learn a lot of shit when you have money.
Hell yeah.
Get you a good chunk of change. You you hire some trainers, and they pretty much give you a game, pretty much. Cause I seen him at a celebrity. Cause remember, I think me and you was talking. I was just joking. I was like, this nigga J. Cole got mad basketballs and shit on his mixtape covers.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was like, he must be nice, cause he's like 6'2" or some shit like that. I'm like, yo, he must be nasty with it. And then I saw him in some celebrity game, and I was like, damn, he kind of whack. I mean, you could tell he plays ball, but he's not. He would be maybe the third best player in a YMCA gym at that time. But now,
He stepped his game up a little, right?
yeah, he's if you see him play ball, you'd be like, yo, that dude probably played D1 11 years ago.
Now I'm looking at the sneakers right now too. They are not a bad look. I've been a little bit more open up to like other brands. Like I'm obviously a Nike head, but these Pumas are not a bad look. They're going in my size for 176 on StockX right now. But yeah, they seem to be hard to find.
Yeah.
Shout out to J. Cole, man. I hope I want to see if he could make something out of this. You know what I mean? Like, that'd be pretty good, because Master P did it, right? They're doing the Master P Chronicles right now on BT. I know that because I got BT again. Shout out YouTube TV.
Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah.
But yeah, Master P. Well, I think he had 2 NBA contracts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know what I mean. It's not impossible. He wouldn't be the first. You know what I mean? And athletes dabble their feet in music all the time. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean. What's his name? Damian Lillard comes to mind. Another dude, I forgot his name. He produced something for Party Next Door though. But they dabble in it too. So let's see what J. Cole could do with that.
Oladipo be singing.
He does, right? He dropped the album.
Right.
Nah, you mentioned
album.
Yeah, I forgot about that shit. No, but in other news, man. I don't know. What we spoke about, I think last week, how the WNBA has been showing a lot of love for Breonna Taylor, the Black Lives Matter movement, and there was somebody who wasn't really for it, and she owns actually an NBA team, Senator Kelly Loeffler. She owns the Georgia WNBA team. What the hell is their name? The Atlanta Dream. Atlanta Dream.
You had time to prep and you admit that you're a sexist. He said, "What the hell is their name? What in the world?" Oh boy.
Now, yo, you know how like some people's the WNBA team, like the New York Liberty. I don't know. I guess the Sparks ain't got nothing to do it, but sometimes it would have like a relationship to the teams. I'm like sitting over here like. Like, I want to call them the Peacocks or the fucking Flamingos. No, they did the Atlanta Dream. She was like, yo, we feel like that y'all shouldn't have Black Lives Matter. She being Senator Kelly Loeffler, who's a co-owner of the team. She felt like the WNBA shouldn't put Black Lives Matter on the court. She felt like we're bringing politics in the sport, despite her being a senator. And her team, they bounced back, bro. Some of them, I know you've seen the Black Lives Matter t-shirt that they donned. Instead of wearing that, they wore a shirt that said "Vote Warnock." Warnock being her opponent, it's Democrat Raphael Warnock. And I'm like, yo, that's gangster right there.
That's big boss.
Yeah, that is gangster right there. I see a picture of Sue Bird, and Breonna Stewart. They're pictured with somebody wearing the shirt on the team, and they're not backing down from it. That's big, because those are big names. You know what I mean? And then
did the senator clap back at them?
I don't. Let me see. Let me look for it. I haven't heard her clapping back at them, because I think she commented it at the time when she saw the shirts were worn in warm up. And you know what I mean? Like, the owners don't really be there like that. But I would imagine that she just didn't comment on it, because what could she say when her own team is supporting her opponent? You know what I mean?
Yeah. She probably going to wait till the off season when the news ain't going to be all crazy about it. Like, all right, I got something for y'all. Fine, $50,000. $50,000.
Mm-hmm. That's what can that's standing up. Like we said, Twitter stood up to Donald Trump despite the bottom line. That's standing up to your boss despite the bottom line. Like,
Word.
you know what I mean, over her political views. But I mean, when you say something like that, and I think what I like about it, and I'm not huge on this cancel culture thing, but I feel like when you come out with something trying to paint this false narrative, you need to be called out for it. And you painting this false narrative that the opposite of Black Lives Matter is the American flag or supporting America, I think you do need to suffer the consequences for that.
Yeah.
Keith, man, that is 100 episodes in the can, brother. Once again, congratulations, man. Shout out to you for being down with this thing, you know what I mean, and bringing your expertise every week to the show. Where can people find you out on social media, brother?
Instagram, me and my _35.
Nice. You can find your boy DJ Playboy on Instagram at Plickapeezy, PLICCAPEEZY. My girlfriend told me I was spelling that too fast, so I decided to slow that down for y'all. But you can also find the Perfect Talk Podcast on Instagram at Perfect Talk Radio. We have a podcast. We also have a website, Keith, and it is called perfecttalkpodcast.com. Check out every episode of the Perfect Talk Podcast from number 1 all the way to 100. And like I said, we trying to do like 1,000 more. You can also check out my radio show, Money Talks Radio, my man DJ Show in the night shift. That's all available right there on perfecttalkpodcast.com. Also, you can find the Perfect Talk Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, everywhere. Everywhere podcasts are sold, man. Go check that out, because we gonna keep doing it. Spotify as well, man. Go check it out. And Keith, what you watching on TV nowadays? I just got down with the HBO Max, because I was watching the Harley Quinn cartoon, and they took it off everywhere, but it popped right back up on HBO Max. So I actually downloaded it because I was gonna get it for Insecure and Ballers anyway. So I was like, I might as well bite the bullet and try this HBO Max thing out. But what you watching nowadays?
Watching The Shy.
Mm-hmm.
Shy got really hit a climax. Let's see, I just finished episode.
Did it get
8.
good? Did it get good? Because I remember at the beginning of the season, you were like, all right, I gotta see how they transversing, how they moving on from homeboy who got himself in trouble. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it went good. They created a whole new storyline. I mean, the storyline's about a child abduction, and the show, you know, at its foundation is a comedy show.
okay.
So sometimes the drama was real deep. So it's interesting how they find those comedic moments. But yeah, it got good. I could still fuck with it.
Nice. Yeah, man. I was telling you before, I've been messing around with the Audible app. I think you had hooked me up with like a present months ago, and I finally Christmas or my birthday, I can't remember, but I finally decided to start using it. And definitely a great present, because I'm feeling Audible. I'm like 3 books deep, so I mean, check that out, America. You know what I mean? Like you said, it's The Shy, the Audible app, and everything that we tell you about here on the Perfect Talk Podcast. Please, everybody out there, these numbers is going up at an insane rate. Let's start wearing these masks, social distance. It's crazy. Sometimes I see pictures of people at some places, man. I'm like, what the hell going on out here? But I'm still on my quarantine flow. I'm trying to stay healthy. The kids are going back to school, man. That's it. I know you seen that picture of that crowded hallway.
Yeah, no, but you know what's crazy about that picture is I think that girl tried to compare herself to John Lewis, which was weird.
She said
the school suspended her.
Yeah, she said I was making some good trouble.
Man.
But fun fact, like 10 of those kids at that school and staff tested positive for coronavirus.
That's crazy.
That is nuts, bro. They have 9 cases at that one school in particular. So, and my daughter's school, they're starting back up soon, and they're considering going virtual, a combination of either hybrid or 100% virtual. I'm like, 100%. What you talking about?
Well, you know what's funny? Well, not funny, but the thing is that, I mean, I don't know what your area is like, but like in the New York City, there's a lot of parents who that's their child care. Like, they don't have no other option, because now businesses are starting to open back up.
Exactly.
Parents got to go to work, so
it's a catch-22. It's like the new reality, but shit, we got episode 101 for that, man. So we're gonna talk about it next week, man. I know you got to get out of here. So like I said, that's 100 episodes in the books, man. And Keith, say goodbye to the people, man.
peace.
Peace.